Your body is dying quietly, and you're calling it a busy week. Not dramatically, not all at once. But right now, underneath the surface of your completely normal-looking life, something is breaking down, slowly, silently, in ways that won't show up on any test until the damage is already done. And the terrifying part, you already know something is wrong. You've known for a while. You just haven't had a name for it yet, or permission to take it seriously, or someone to tell you that what you're feeling in your body isn't weakness, it's a warning. This is that warning. What is happening inside millions of people right now, people who go to work, raise their kids, answer their emails, smile when asked how they're doing, is not a mood. It is not a phase. It is not something that a good night's sleep will reverse, because most of them haven't had a genuinely good night's sleep in longer than they can remember. What is happening is a biological hijacking, a slow, measurable, cellular-level assault being carried out by something so normalized, so embedded in modern life, that we gave it a productivity badge and kept moving. We called it stress. We made it a personality trait. We turned it into a badge of honor. And in doing so, we handed it permission to destroy us from the inside out, quietly, efficiently, and completely beneath our radar. But here is what separates this conversation from every other stress video you've half-watched while simultaneously checking your phone. This is not about candles. This is not about meditation apps or morning routines or the 17 habits of vaguely successful people. This is about what chronic stress is doing to the literal physical structure of your brain, cell by cell, region by region, and there is one specific discovery made less than 2 decades ago that should have shut down every wellness trend overnight and replaced it with something far more urgent. It didn't make headlines, most people still don't know it, and once you hear it, you will never casually say, "I'm just stressed again," without understanding exactly what those words mean for your body. Stay with this, because what comes next changes everything. When your brain detects a threat, any threat, a deadline, a difficult conversation, a bill you can't pay, the specific anxiety of lying awake at 2 a.m. with your thoughts louder than they have any right to be, it pulls a biological alarm. Cortisol surges, your heart accelerates, your digestion halts, your immune system shifts into emergency configuration. This is not malfunction. This is genius. This is your body executing a survival program that kept your ancestors alive in the most dangerous environments on Earth. The design is perfect. The problem is the design was built for threats that end. A predator either catches you or it doesn't. The danger resolves, cortisol drops, the system resets and rebuilds. But your inbox doesn't resolve, your financial anxiety doesn't resolve. The slow, suffocating pressure of trying to be enough in every direction at once, that never resolves. And your nervous system, brilliant as it is, cannot tell the difference between a physical predator and a passive-aggressive text message. It just keeps sounding the alarm, week after week, month after month, until the alarm becomes background noise you've stopped hearing, but your cells haven't. And here is what that constant alarm does to a body that was never designed to run it indefinitely. Chronic cortisol suppresses immune function, not boosts it, suppresses it, making you slower to heal, more vulnerable to illness, and increasingly reactive to things that used to roll off you. It drives systemic inflammation, the invisible fire that researchers now directly link to heart disease, type 2 diabetes, autoimmune disorders, and cellular aging that moves faster than your birth certificate says it should. It devastates your gut, that living ecosystem of trillions of bacteria that regulates not just your digestion, but your mood, your immunity, and your brain chemistry in ways that compound silently for years. It fractures your sleep so thoroughly that even unconscious hours stop being restorative. And it does something to your cardiovascular system that stops researchers cold or chronic stress alone in otherwise healthy people with no other risk factors, stiffens arterial walls and raises cardiac risk in ways that are measurable, documented, and almost universally ignored until it's too late. But none of that is the thing I told you was coming. Your brain is physically shrinking, not as metaphor, not as exaggeration, as measurable biological fact. Chronic stress causes documented MRI-confirmed reduction in the volume of the hippocampus, the region of your brain responsible for memory formation, learning capacity, and emotional regulation. Cortisol, when it runs chronically elevated through brain tissue, is neurotoxic. It kills hippocampal neurons. It reduces the physical size of a brain structure you depend on every single day to feel like a coherent, functioning, emotionally stable human being. People living under chronic stress show smaller hippocampal volume than those who don't. People with long-term depression, which chronic stress both causes and accelerates, show the same measurable shrinkage. This is not a mental health stigma conversation. This is a neuroscience conversation. Your stress is not in your head. It is reshaping your head, literally. And here's the part that the panic needs to make room for, because this story does not end in damage. The brain is plastic. It rewires. It regenerates. The hippocampus is one of the only regions in the adult brain capable of growing new neurons, a process called neurogenesis. And the conditions that trigger that regrowth are not exotic or expensive or locked behind a specialist's waiting list. They are biological, accessible, and grounded in real science. Sleep that is genuinely protected, movement that is consistent, human connection that is real rather than performed, reduction in the inflammatory load that chronic stress has been building for years, and the deliberate, committed decision to stop treating your nervous system's crisis as a scheduling inconvenience. The repair is real, but it requires something that chronically stressed people find almost unbearable, and that is stopping, not slowing down. Stopping the story that your stress is a reasonable price for the life you're building, because your nervous system is not interested in your justifications. It does not grade you on the legitimacy of your pressure. It just runs the chemistry. And right now, the chemistry is working against you in ways that are going to matter in your memory, in your mood, in your immune resilience, in your heart, in the speed at which your body ages, whether you acknowledge it or not. You read this far because something in you recognized itself in these words. That recognition is not anxiety. That recognition is intelligence. It is your body finally getting a language for what it has been trying to tell you for a long time in the only vocabulary it has: exhaustion, irritability, that hollow feeling behind your eyes at the end of a day that wasn't even particularly hard, the strange grief of not remembering the last time you felt light. Your mind is not broken, it is overwhelmed, and there is a profound difference between those two things, one that could change everything about how you move through the next chapter of your life if you let it. So tell me in the comments, and I want you to be honest with yourself when you answer this. What part of your life right now are you calling fine that your body has been quietly screaming is anything but? Because sometimes the most important diagnosis doesn't come from a doctor. It comes from finally being willing to hear yourself.